my name is Sean Barr. I am a high school construction technology teacher here in Phoenix, Arizona at the academies at South Mountain High School. I am going to be uploading my Unit 4 portfolio project here with my state issued ID. Let's get this right up front. If you don't mind, I blocked out my driver's license number and home address for security, but name and picture in frame. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. So for our business 5115 course in this portfolio project, what I went through and did is selected two scenarios. The first scenario is that I disagree with the subordinate because I do not think that restaurants are good investments in general. So you have a bad feeling about this customer's ability to repay a loan based on your experience with the market rather than financial facts. So let's dive into this. So we're going to start by looking at factors that I would look for in granting loan approval, and then things that may cause a denial of the loan. So loan approval requirements. The very first thing that I would request from this restaurant is a business plan. As you can see here, we have a quote: lenders will want to understand what your business does, how that makes money, how it will continue to succeed, and most importantly, a lender will want to know what your plan is for financing, right? The lender doesn't want to give you money if they don't think that you can pay money back. So with this business plan, there are multiple things that it can include, such as target market, pricing, strategies, financial projections, marketing plans, and competitive advantages. A lender such as myself is going to want to see all of this from a business, right? They want to see that you have a plan moving forward that's going to continue a sustainable business so that me, the lender, can continue to get payments back on the money that I've given to you. The second thing that I would be looking for is your financial statements. Most current financial statements backed up to maybe 1 to 2 years. I'd be looking at your profit loss sheets, right? What kind of money is coming in and going out? I want to know your balance sheets. What does a month-to-month take for you look like? I want cash flow statements, right? Anything financial that's going to prove your status as an organization. The third thing I'd be looking for is a business credit score. The higher the score, the more likely your business is to receive a loan. Just like a personal credit check, right? A business can have a credit report run against it to check its debts against other lenders or other suppliers. So these are the top 3 things that I would be looking for if I was a loan officer, right? Trying to seek approval for this that my subordinate has requested. Now, with restaurants, right, the scenario suggests that there's hesitation, right, towards restaurants in the market. Reasons for denial include those, right? There's a statistic that says 20% of restaurants can succeed in this market, according to latest statistics and data from the National Restaurant Association. So factor that into account that 1 in every 5 restaurants that starts up actually successfully makes it, right? There go. It is a riskier business investment, right? So the reason for not wanting to invest in restaurants isn't a disdain for business. It's a statistical analysis as to why businesses are maybe a poorer choice, right? The reasons that a business loan might be denied for this restaurant is if they're a younger business or a startup restaurant, right? In a market such as this where restaurants have a low success rate, a younger or startup restaurant is going to have to put out and prove more than a restaurant that's been around for 10, 15, 20 plus years, okay? Other reasons that a loan may be denied is a low credit score or poor financial statements, right? If they're needing a loan but not able to prove that they're paying their debts and managing money well, it's not going to give the lender a great opportunity to see their financial success, right? Because there's not really financial success in that situation. So the reasons for loan approval would be strong factual backing on finances, strong business plan, strong credit score. Reasons for denial are going to be low statistical success rates of restaurants and poor financial statements. The second scenario chosen was that I disagree with the subordinate because I think that members of their family are business failures. So I have a bad feeling about this customer's ability to repay their loan based on the experience with social history rather than financial facts, right? Taking personal into business here. So let's dive into this. The loan approval requirements are actually going to be very similar to that restaurant scenario, the one before, right? I would still require a business plan, right? I still want to know, What's your marketing strategy? What's your competitive advantage, right? What are you looking to do to increase business? Who's your target market, right? I want a solid business plan, whether it's the restaurant or this individual. Okay, same with financial statements, right? Prove to me that you have the financial backing and success to make this a sustainable option, because I want my money paid back to me through financing as a lender. Okay, and then a business credit check as before. Now here's where we start to vary away from the restaurant scenario, right? An additional requirement for loan approval for this scenario, right? Given the family history, I would personally request a personal finance history, right? I want to see the business successes and failures of this individual separate and standalone from their family members, right? We have another quote here. Each owner's personal finances play a role in their ability to get business financing, especially if you're launching a startup. Business lenders frequently require personal guarantee, which makes you and your co-owners, if you have any, personally responsible for paying back the borrowed funds if your business cannot pay. Okay. The scenario talks about the skepticism being in other family members' business failures. Part of the loan approval for this individual may require them to be the sole borrower from this loan, right? No other individuals incorporated on the loan, right? Especially some of these families who, when we run their personal financial history, we're going to see failed business adventures, right? We're going to see possibly bad credit scores, right? So an additional requirement of possibly requiring the individual buyer or borrower to go for loan approval, right? Those credit scores from one individual are not affected by a bad credit score of their family or spouse, right? So if this solo individual is capable of providing the business plan, right, the business credit, the financial statements, and a solid personal finance history, then loan approval may begin to move forward. However, right, if this individual requires other family members to be involved in the loan with them, maybe it's due to financial reasons, right? There are certain scenarios where one person alone cannot financially put up collateral to give reason to the size of a loan needed for their business, right? So if they have to pull these family members in, but these family members have bad credit or poor history, it may be denied, okay? Poor financial history on the individual borrower, right? Poor financial statements, poor business plans, any of these could be big red flags for a lender such as myself who is trying to determine whether or not this individual would qualify for a loan. Here are the list of references that you have seen in-text citations for throughout this presentation. Again, my name is Sean Barr. This is my Unit 4 portfolio project for Business 5115. Thank you and have a wonderful day.